Shalom. Look at all the people that are here. Shalom, shalom, my sweet sis and brothers. It's so good to see you guys. We have our sweet sis, beautiful sister, old McMoney on one. I don't know what you would call this. She's in the studio. Let's put it that way, right? She's in the studio. So you may greet her and she can greet you. He's in the studio. Let's put it that way, right? Oh, McBonnie.
Uh-oh, lag. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can speak to the family.
Okay.
Say shalom to the family.
Yes, ma'am. Shalom, family. How are you?
All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. McMoney, are you able to see the chat right now?
No.
Okay, and I honestly I can't even tell you how to go about doing it. Is there no buttons or anything that would say that would show you the chat? So family, we're trying this out for the first time. So bear, be patient with us. Mary C is learning this new system. All right. So we may have a couple more people come on to be in the studio with us. I did invite a couple of other people. So here's the thing, family. I'm going to get started with our exercise in just a few minutes, but I want to do a little housekeeping. So we have in order for me to have this studio chat with other people to be visible with us, it requires that they're invitees. So I have to invite people to participate. And the way that works is I need a email, okay, for me to send a link so that you can be included in the chat, not in the regular chat, but I need to have an email. So I just wanted to let you guys know it's not just a matter of just clicking someone and adding them to this. I have to have an email. I'll send you a link, and then from that link, you can come enter the studio. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. So I had old McMoney's. She communicates back and forth with me quite often via email. So I had her email address, and I didn't think that she would mind me inviting her. And so she was gracious enough to accept the invitation. And so she is online with us right now. So good morning to everyone who's come on board. I changed the go ahead, old McMoney.
I was just saying good morning, family.
They're all saying good morning. You're going to have to speak up just a little bit, old McMoney, okay?
Okay. Let me turn my volume up. Okay.
Yeah, turn
Is that any better?
Yes, I can hear you. Everyone that's in the chat, can you hear old McMoney? Let me know. Are you hearing us both? Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. They're hearing us. They're hearing us. I don't know how long this is going to take for us to go through this. All right. All right. So family, can someone do me a favor? Because I didn't write it down. This is exercise number 2. Can you put the title in the chat for me, please? Once again, I did not write it down. Okay, good. Even the beginnings is saying, where's that at? It's saying, yes, we can hear you both, Mary C. and O. McMoney. Very good. All right. Okay, so someone is going to be gracious enough to put the title in for me. I appreciate it. Shalom, shalom, everyone who's on board. Sharper One is here. Sharper One, you let me know, honey, if you're okay with having the security detail. If that's not something that because we kind of just poured it on you. If that's not something you're comfortable with, if you just want to, just listen in, or if you want to remain the security detail leader, that would be great. But let me know, because you didn't really get an opportunity to volunteer. So Sharper One, you let me know how you feel about that, okay? Not much. It's more of a, this is an exercise, family. There's no right, no wrong. We're talking through, we're thinking through possibilities, things that can happen in the event of a catastrophe, an emergency, anything that we can do to survive, that we're going to be working together. So you're not really Sharper One. You're never going to be on your own with anything, because we're going to be walking through. You just have, you're going to have the role, if you will, of lead security. Uh-oh, did we lose Old McMoney? We might have lost Old McMoney. We'll wait for her and see if she can come back in. Okay, she's saying to me, I can see why you said to use the, here she is. There we go. To use the laptop or desktop, because you can't see the video and chat at the same time. Okay, that's good to know, because again, all of this is brand new. All of this is brand new. So anyhow, family, remember what I said. There's no right, there's no wrong. Everyone in the chat is going to be respectful to our brothers and sisters that are going to participate. No right or wrong answers. We love on everyone. If you disagree, I'm going to ask all of us to be able to disagree, to agree to disagree on whatever it is that we're talking about. Okay. So I at first entitled this the countdown, but I changed that. Okay, I changed that from the countdown to what did I change it to? No, I changed it from what it was to the countdown. I think I had it on maybe group dynamics or something else, but now it is the countdown. And I'll tell you why I decided to go with the countdown. I got to asking myself a couple questions last night. Okay. Okay, Eve New Beginnings put the title up for us. Bless your heart. Thank you so much, sweetheart. It is Stuff Hits the Fan is officially on. This is exercise number 2, and it is the countdown, and I put a question mark behind it, okay? And here's the thing, family. I want you to guess. I'm sorry, well, McMonty, did you say something?
I'm sorry. No, I turned on my tablet so I can read the chat. Yeah.
Okay, pipe in anytime you want, though. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here is something that I'm going to ask you guys to put in the chat. If you, like I said, I'm going to go with what the experts say. Okay. But I would like for you guys to guess how long you think it's going to take. How long before society as we know it breaks down and the neighborhoods that we're living in, the suburbs, the cities, the towns that we're living in? How long do you think that our society would break down to a point where it is no longer safe? How long do you think it would take? So whether it's a natural disaster or terrorist attack or pandemic or whatever, a catastrophe has hit. From that moment that the catastrophe hits, how long do you think we have before society breaks down? And what do you think the experts had to say as far as a number? So we are seeing day-to-day lifestyle says 48.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to agree with Rebecca Blogs. Well, not the 3 weeks, but I'm agreeing with depending on the situation
Depending on the
because people are
situation. Of
used
course,
to some. Mhm.
that does play a key role in it. Day-to-day lifestyle says 48 hours. And I'm just gonna share what everyone is saying. Good Vibes says 72 hours. Sharper One says 2 days. Rebecca Blog says 3 weeks, depending on the situation. Which all of these are good answers. Um, the Guardians of Israel says once the food is gone. Janice Heckler says 2 days. And Eve New Beginning says when the food runs dry in the stores, so possibly 1 day. Let's see, what else do we have? Terry Payne says 6 months to a year. Dale P says the next 12 hours. These are all very, very good answers. Okay. Wick News 8100 says they're already broken down. It comes in small, barely noticeable increments. Flo Hughes says not long,
Yes.
at least 2 weeks. Pass says 24 to 48 hours. Chelsea says about a week or two. You guys, these are all very, very good answers. Now, let me share with you. We have Michelle says about a month. Denise Parker says a matter of days to a week. Yeah, once we run out of resources, so a couple of weeks. Very good answers. Very good answers. Did your guess, Old McMoney, was about, what did you
Um,
say, about 3 weeks?
no, I said depending on the situation. That was Rebecca Blogs. It said 3 weeks. Um,
Okay.
we're used to, a lot of people are used to natural disasters and other disasters, and society hadn't broken down. But if it's something out of the ordinary, yes, I think it would only be a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tamika Robb says 5 to 7 days. Okay, so family, let me share with you what the so-called experts had to say about that, right? Here's what they said. Whether it's a natural disaster, bioterrorist attack, or pandemic, experts reckon society as we know it will collapse within 13 days of a catastrophic event. 13 days is what they give us. And there's a lot, just like old McMoney, Rebecca, and most of you guys in the chat. There are different factors that would either move it up or move it down, or go move it back. Different
Hmm.
factors. The
Yes,
location. Go ahead.
I was just agreeing.
Yes, yes. What was the question under the oaks? Good to see you, sweetie. The question was how long before society that as we know it would break down after a catastrophic event. And so everyone was kind of given a guess as to what they think that how long they think that it would take for the breakdown. So we're talking, the experts say about 13 days. So if that's the case, let's say we had for us in our exercise that 13 days has not occurred yet. Okay, so for our circumstance, let's say this is because we're going to have to go back a little bit. Okay, I know that we have already done a partial exercise, but let's start at the beginning right now. Okay, if you guys are okay with that. So let's say that this is
Mhm.
day one, all right, of the catastrophic event, day one. What I'm going to start out by saying on day one that this is the day that we know things are not going to go back to the way they were. We know this. This is the first day of that. If you are on the job, what do you guys do? And I really want you guys to think about this, because chances are everything is not going to be in perfect alignment. You know, uh, the stars are aligned with everything that you want to happen in the event that this catastrophe stops or starts. Everything's not going to just line up for you. So you have to. I want you to think about this. It's quite possible your family will be in several different areas when something like this happens. And if you're like me, you want your family around you. You don't want to be separated from your loved ones in the event of something like this happens. But the chances are, family, we will not all be together. Have you thought about that? Okay. And I asked you, if you're at work, what are you going to do? And you say leave. Now, all right, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but you say you would leave day-to-day life, would leave work. That's what most people are going to do. Most people are going, once they find out that this is it, most people are going to go and seek their families. They're going to go and try and try to get home. And you know what that's going to cause, right? Rebecca Blogs has got some insight for us. Rebecca Bloggs says, I went through Hurricane Ike and I lived on the tornado alley, so I'm used to panic. Catastrophe, the catastrophe has begun. We have folks that are at work. As day-to-day lifestyle says, they will leave. What's going to happen is we're going to have congestion on the expressways, on the highways, on the roadways, because everybody and his brother is going to be trying to do the same thing. Right? Can you see it? Tamika Robb says, leave for refuge. You're going to leave
Absolutely.
for work. You're going to go and try to find family. What's that, old McMoney?
Because absolutely, it's going to be congested, no cars moving. You have to be ready to walk.
Did you guys hear, sis? Have you made plans? Sis said you're gonna have to make plans to be ready to walk if need be to get back home. My husband and I remember I told you, he has when he's at the office, when he goes to the office, he has a to-go bag that he takes to the office with him in the event of something like this occurring, so that he has enough. He figures that at the most it would take him 2 days. He doesn't work that far away, but at the most it would take him 2 days to get home, no more than that. So he has at least 2 days worth of supplies in his to-go bag. Okay, in his to-go bag, in the event that he has to leave his automobile and walk. And he and I talked yesterday about this. Again, we have these discussions quite often, but he and I talked yesterday about it, and we both agreed that in the event that it is taking a while for him to get back, I am not to go out, nor am I to send anyone out to search for him. And the reason why we agreed on this is because he could have a path that he has set out and has shared with me, so I would know what route he would take to get home. But in the event of danger or anything else occurring, he may need to change that route to a different route, and I might not be able to know the changes, about those changes. So I could be headed out to one area which could be dangerous, and he could be on a totally different route. So we both agreed that let him do the best he can to make it back here without somebody going out to try to rescue him, so to speak. because we would be putting ourselves possibly in danger. Does that make sense?
Complete.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the family here. That's right. And Rebecca Block, I love this. You're thinking ahead. I love this. All of you guys are doing really, really well with this. Rebecca Block says, if a nuke goes off, you may have to shelter in place because of fallout. That's absolutely true. The thing is, when we're doing this exercise, unfortunately, we can't prepare for everything right now, right? We can't prepare for everything. I'm sorry. Oh, did you sneeze? God bless you. We can't prepare though for everything. So if it were a nuclear event, we would have to change course and do things probably a lot different than if it were a EMP, for example. So it really and truly depends on the situation and what's going on. And you guys in the chat, which one do you guys want to go with? Do you want to go with a nuke event? Do you want to go with bioterrorism? Do you want to go with an EMP strike? Do you want to go with, let's say, an invasion? It all changes based on what it is, the event that we're facing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It could be a natural disaster, a volcano erupts. Somebody, who was it? Was it Flo? Sent me a email about what's the volcano here? I watched it this morning and I can't remember. The volcano, Russia saying that they have the ability to set this volcano off. Okay. So it
Is
could
it
be
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. That's it. So it could be any of those things. So if you want to, family, we can go ahead. Yellowstone. It was you, Flo, right? Yellowstone Park. Yes. I think it was you, Flo, that sent that to me. Anyhow, so family, it could be exactly. How about this one? Ohio chemical fallout. That's a catastrophe. Okay, that's a catastrophe. So family, I don't want to make that decision. I'm going to put it to you guys to decide, what catastrophe are we facing? Because if we're facing all of those, we're in trouble. I just have to say it. We're in big trouble, right? Right on McMoney?
Oh, definitely. Just one or two, but all of them happening at the same time.
Oh
Oh my
my.
goodness.
Excuse me. So it looks like I'm seeing people say EMP strike. I think EMP is going to kick everything off. Okay. EMP will probably happen first. A lot of EMPs. I did get a nuke invasion. Amoni had a dream about invasion. I've had so many of those, but it looks like the majority of you are going with EMP. EMP first.
Yes, any attack on our infrastructure.
Okay. I like that. Nadine Holmes says, man calls it an EMP, God calls it a weapon of indignation. All right. So anyhow, family, it looks like what was that?
I was just laughing. A
Oh,
weapon of
yeah.
indignation. I like that.
Yes. All right. Okay. So we've just had an EMP strike. And in our previous scenario, we actually said that we still had electricity and we still had running water. And an EMP, if it does strike, it is still possible because there are
Excuse me,
backups.
Mary.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mary. Chosen One is
Yes.
trying to get into the studio.
Oh, okay. Oh, she sure is. Thank you, sweetie, for allowing me to see that. And so is, okay, Chosen One's got two of them up. All right. Chosen One, are you there? Okay, maybe I'll try the other one.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, but I don't know what's happening.
Okay, I got two of you
There
on
she
here.
is.
Okay. Can you hear me? Chosen One?
Looks like she exited out of the wrong one.
Okay. So I'm going to remove that one and see if I can put her in this one. Chosen One, are you there?
Looks like she exited out of the wrong one.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to that one and see if I can put her in this one. Chosen One, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Chosen One, is that you speaking? I hear an echo, so you're probably going to have to turn either something.
I got to figure out which one I got to turn down.
Okay. And shalom, shalom, sis. Family, bear with us. We're new at this. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I certainly can. Shalom,
Okay.
sweetheart.
Yeah, shalom, shalom.
It's good of you to join us. So, family,
Sorry, it took so
Chosen
long.
One indeed has joined us.
Sorry
And I'm
about
sorry
that.
I didn't see you beforehand.
It's okay.
I got to pay more attention to the different screens that are in front of me. So we have, I guess we've decided that the catastrophe that we're facing is an EMP. And also, Chosen One, before we get going further in this, I want to let you know that at any time that you need to check out, just let us know that you have to go. Okay.
Okay.
You're not required to stay the whole time in this invited as a guest. Okay. And I really appreciate you coming on board to do this. And again, to the family that's listening, if you missed what I said earlier, in order for you to participate like Old McMoney and Chosen One indeed, it requires me to have your email address so that I can send you the invite link. That's how that works. I'm still learning how to do this, but that's what is required. So anytime you want to participate, just let me know that you want to participate, and let me know what your email address is, and I'll send you a link. Does that make sense? And the family, are you able to see the chat, Chosen One indeed?
Yes.
Good. Okay. You see, people are saying hi.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm really on.
Okay.
So I can see the chat on this one. Let me say shalom to everybody.
Okay. Hey, wife. Good morning. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Terry Payne, and everyone else that's Phyllis Robinson, everyone else that's come on board. Pamela Montgomery, Dale P. I didn't take the time to speak to everyone because we were trying to stay focused. So my apologies in that area. I love you all. You know I do. Shalom to all of you. All right. So, okay. So we have decided, EMP family. So again, let me go back to what the experts say. So there are those of us, after we've had this EMP strike attack, we do have systems that have backup. We are, for the most part, our infrastructure is weak. It's not the best, but from what I understand, there are backups to the systems. All right. How long those backups will run, I don't know. If you guys have information on that, please share it in the chat. But so we would have electricity for a little bit in some areas, and we would have some running water for a little while. Okay. Not everyone is going to have backup. So chances are your local grocery stores probably won't have a backup. Okay. But I would tend to think that places like the hospital would have backup set up. You know, pipe in Old McMoney and Chosen One Indeed if you've got some information to share of what you think would what other facilities would have backups backup situations set up in the event of a strike.
The only thing I can think would be the police department and the fire department, maybe, and maybe a few government buildings, depending on the hierarchy of of the system.
Mm-hmm. Well, and family members are saying in EMP, a wife says EMP would cause grid down. Yes, it would. I'm going to say for us in many areas, it depends on how old the system is or how new the system is, I do believe, right? Because what I have learned is the newer makes of cars would probably completely shut down, but the older makes of the cars probably would still function, right? So I would tend to think, and who else says that? Terry Payne says EMP doesn't everything shut down, cars, lights. Excuse me. I could be wrong, family. I could be wrong on this, but my understanding is depends on the system and how new it is. And that would be the cause of a lot of it not working. But I guess I'm assuming for some of the older ones, they might have a way to continue on. If what you're saying is indeed a fact, that everything is gone. Yeah, see, I think
Yeah, I believe that is correct. Everything will be gone.
well, we do know that some of the cars will still be able to function.
The
The
older
older ones,
cars.
the older
Yeah.
ones.
Right.
Hmm?
The older ones, my understanding. But I
Yeah,
think
my
it's
understanding is the
really
older
old.
ones will continue.
Yeah, the one without all the computer stuff.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm
any
trying to remember what year
infrastructure that is not totally dependent on, I guess, the modern technology might work.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
Because Pink Light says, yes, all the new cars are all controlled. All your appliances, they're all online too. Okay. Hold on. Let me get back up in here. Okay. Old McMoney says, and I'm going to get to that. Old McMoney says the military for sure would have some things shielded. That absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm. We saw this in the movie Dragon Day. Dragon Day. If you haven't watched it, go out and look for it and watch it. The older cars will be swamped by mobs. Anyone who's looking to get from
Hmm.
point A to point B will be looking to take those older vehicles so that they can get where they need to go. So anyone that has one of the older vehicles would be, in the path of thieves, robbers, and criminals. All right.
Absolutely. They'll probably be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
I've had dreams about that
Yeah.
because I have an older car. And
Okay.
I'm
And you know
constantly
what?
checking.
We've got one of both. We've got one of the older ones, and we have a newer one. And what, before the pandemic, our plan was to get rid of the older one so that we would have two fairly modern cars to operate. When the pandemic happened, we both decided no, we're going to keep the older car just in case. And that's what we did. We kept the older car so that at least one of them will function in the event of something like this happening. So, family. All right. So, we talked about whether it's a natural disaster, whatever kind of disaster happens. In our case, we're going with, as far as I understand, with the group, we're going to go with an EMP. And we're in the first day of the catastrophe. And we talked about it not being a perfect situation, right? It's not going to be a perfect situation. You're going to have people who are probably not going to be at home when this happens. And we have to think through what will, a plan. If you don't have a plan put together yet, you need to start working on a plan for your family. In the event that when the catastrophe happens, that they know to get home. You look at what happens if they can't. All right, so we talked about this a little bit too. Everybody and his brother, once they find out that this is it and it's not going to go back to the way it was beforehand, not very many people are going to stay and finish their workday. Most people are going to look at the clock and say, you know what, I am out of here. This is a done deal. We're through. And they're going to try to head home, right? Most people are going to do that. They're going to try to head home. They're going to get in their vehicles and they're going to get on the expressway and they're going to get caught on the highways because everybody and his brother is going to be thinking the same thing. You're going to have congestion on the roads. So if you have to leave and you're in a vehicle, family, if there is a way for you to do it on the back roads to get home, hit those back roads because most people are going to hit the expressways. The fastest route is what they're going to go for. If you have to do a roundabout in order to get home in a vehicle, do the roundabout way. Go the least likely traveled way to get home. Does that make sense? And even some of those might get you, might be congested. And it might just mean that your best bet is to get your backpack, put it on your back and start hiking. And you need to look at a plan to see how long it would take for you to walk from your workplace to your home, how long it would take. Give your family a timeline and say, it should take me no longer than 2 days. I'm not saying it's going to take 2 days to walk home, but I'm saying it should take no longer than 2 days. If anything, if it goes beyond 2 days, we know something happened, right? Do you have a plan in place? If your child is at school, do you have a plan in place to go and get that child from school? Chances are the school buses are not going to be able to bring them home if that's what they're used to getting on. Do you have a backup person? If you're at work and you can't get to your child, do you have a backup person? And at any time. Oh, McMonty, can you say something? I want to make sure you're not muted.
I was muted. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. You muted yourself. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't mute you. You muted yourself. That's fine. I just happened to look and see
Yes.
that. Okay, thank you. So anyhow, these are things that you need to do. How was it, Dominique? 911, when that happened, how was it when you went to pick up your children? What were the roads like? What was the school like? Was there panic all over? What was it like for you when you did that, when you went to pick up your kids? And then Terry Payne says, there's no lights. Let me see. It moved on me. There's no light, so it would be in the daytime. I wouldn't want to be out after hours. And unfortunately for many of our family members, many of them work at night. And that means that they would have to try to get home during the evening or the nighttime hours to get back to their families. So some of our family members work, the night shift, if you will. Shalom, shalom, everyone that's coming on board.
I'd like to throw it in I'd like to think from the enemy's standpoint. If I am the enemy, I'm going to make sure your roads are not available to you. Your main freeway.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you think
somebody's got to be the enemy.
Somebody's got to be the enemy.
Yeah.
So this is the first day. This is day one.
Discussions. Somebody's got to be the enemy and think like the enemy.
Yeah, you do have to think like the enemy. This is day one of the catastrophe. So day one of the catastrophe, Chosen One indeed is saying that it's quite possible that many of the roads might be blocked. Those who are working against us may have set up roadblocks, and so that you will not be able to get through in the best manner using your vehicles. So that using your cars may not be the best option. Is that what you're saying? You would say, Chosen One indeed?
Absolutely. I live near a lot of freeways that cross. So what I would do is, as the enemy, is I'd take all those ramps out completely, not just block them. Since they're up in the air,
mm-hmm.
Just destroy them. The way we see them destroying the bridges across the water.
I'm going to get off topic just a little bit. McMoney and Chosen One indeed, what do you guys think about these train derailments that are happening all over the place?
Set up.
Chosen One indeed, you say set up? Okay. Yeah.
I say practice run for the big one.
You what?
Practice run for the big one.
Okay, practice run. Oh, wow.
Because why did they take out that little town?
What, the one in Ohio?
Right.
See, we think of it as a little town, and we think of it as not really affecting the rest of us. But anytime the enemy does anything, there's purpose behind it, and there's more to it 9 times out of 10 than we initially think. Right?
Yep.
The chemical spill. All right?
Yeah, test run.
It affects the air, the water, the land, as well as the animals and the people in that area. And we keep saying in that area, right?
Right.
But there is a river that goes through there that goes across other states. The state that I'm in, it goes to the border of the state that I'm in. So that stuff is traveling, family. So they're hitting what we think of as an isolated little town. But how does that hitting that isolated little town affect the rest of us? And we have to look at the big picture, because it's not just that little town that is impacted by that spill. There are other areas that are impacted by it as well. It may not be as visible because we're not directly in that state or that area. But we have to look at all of the different puzzle pieces. What does that affect? How will that affect other areas? Right? And so if you're in a town or an area where you have an intersecting river or waterway or something like that, if they hit an area that's close to you, you know what I'm trying to say? What major rivers are close by you in your area that they could target, so that you don't have
I
good
see.
running water? So I'm going with what you were saying, chosen one indeed, how the enemy's plans are to possibly put roadblocks up. I could see that. I could see that. But just like who was it that brought up this town in Ohio? That's another one. I mean, you guys are really thinking ahead, and I love this. They are polluting. Shalom, brother. They are polluting the air and water. Shalom, Brother Maurice. It's good to see you here. And that's true. And Janice says 100% set up. So family, getting back to where we are right now, okay? So we've had this catastrophe happen. Right now, we're in the process of making sure that our loved ones get back home to us. You're going to have folks that are local to you who are going to make their way to you. We've already did that. We had our brothers and sisters, family members who have decided that there's one safe location to go to. Let's say we've already planned that out. So they're all headed to one person's home. Okay, one person's home that has stockpiled, has food, has water. All of those who are in the family who are able to are gathering up as many supplies as they possibly can, and they are got their trunks full with groceries and first aid and everything else that they can think of, and they're headed to the family house. Okay, so that everyone is going to be together. That's where we left off at the last exercise. All of the family was coming together, correct?
Right.
Okay. So there are a couple of things that I just wanted to kind of talk about. One of the things that these experts suggest, that when a catastrophe like this happens and the infrastructure breaks down, there are a few things that's going to happen, family. I don't know if you guys have considered this. The infrastructure breaks down and folks are going home. If you're a doctor, a nurse, and you know that the infrastructure is breaking down like that, as a nurse or a doctor, are you going to remain at the hospital if you don't have to? I feel for those who are in the hospitals who require round the clock assistance or care. Okay, I don't know what would happen to them, because I do believe that people, I don't want to say that people are going to be heartless, but put yourself in that position. Many of those folks that work in hospitals have children. They have family members that depend on them. And if they have to make a decision between your family member in the hospital and their family members at home, what do you think they're going to decide?
I know I told my husband to get on home. He works at a VA.
Okay. So many of those people are
But
probably, say it again.
but he works at a clinic. He works at a clinic, so it's not like he's got critical care.
Okay. Okay. But I mean, truly, family, people are going to go home. They're going to do what they can do for their
Mhm.
family. I don't want to
Exactly.
call them being heartless. I just believe it's a way to survive. That's how they're going to do it. You watch these movies where you see the nurse that she stays there till the end, with that one patient that is on all of the machines, and that nurse in the TV movie stays there till the end until they can find someone to rescue them. I'm not so sure that would always be the case. I will say this, I believe. Now, I could be wrong. Old McMoney and Chosen One and D, pipe in. When the infrastructure goes down like that, I do believe that the federal government will step in. Okay, with your National Guard and things like that, I do believe they will step in to try to provide assistance. But I'm tiptoeing around the saying they're going to try to provide assistance, because I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression. I don't want you to get the impression that Mary C is saying that you need to rely on them and trust them 100%. I'm not saying that at all, but I
Mm,
do believe,
mm,
and
mm,
I could be
Nope.
wrong. I believe that the National Guard and the federal government will step in when the infrastructure begins to crumble.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I, well, I agree with
They
Michelle
will.
S. Green. They will leave. They left during the virus.
Mm, 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 mm.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Those
Yes, the
people will go
government will
home.
step in, but hmm
Go ahead.
the government will step in, but there is a window. They're not going to be there immediately,
No, no,
and
I don't.
then
I
they don't
agree with
have
you. It's
enough
going to take.
troops to cover everything.
Right. I agree with you on that. I think what will happen is the National Guard, those that are local to you, are the ones that will be the ones in your area that will begin to try to um, maintain. What's the word I want to use? Some
Order.
form of control, uh, so that
Hmm.
some type of order. Yes, I do believe that. So Dominique is saying those people will go home, meaning those in the hospital. And it's not just the hospitals that we're talking about. We're talking about some of the major places. Hospitals is an important one. And I mentioned that because I want people to think that even though these people enjoy their work, they are dedicated to making sure that everyone is safe. When it comes time to when they have to decide on whether or not to care for your family members or their family members, they're going to take and go home. They're going to go home. And again, I believe that those in your area um, will be put into place to maintain a little bit of control in order. Um, so this is the military. If everybody else is going home, the military will probably uh, stay the course for a time. All right, they'll
Mhm.
probably stay the course for a time because that's what they're trained to do. Is
Well,
anybody in the military or
Hmm.
anybody
I can
out
tell
there?
you, I was in the National Guard, and during our exercises, we would always make jokes, and we would say, "Oh, if something like this was to really happen, I'm going home to my family." So I
Okay,
don't know.
so some may choose to stay, some may choose to go. Right. uh, and so in a case like this, and we have family members that have said this to me, that when a catastrophe hits, they don't know who they can trust. And I get
Right.
it. I understand that. Absolutely. I understand where they're coming from. So many of them have said that they would be lone wolves. You know what I mean when I say a lone wolf, right? In our case, family, uh, uh, we have decided that we're going to stick together as a family in our case. But what about those lone wolves, those that have decided that they don't know that they can trust anyone. They don't really have any family, and they're out their family. They don't have any family, and they think that they're going to be able to make it on their own. Okay, what are your thoughts on the lone wolves that are out there? Is that a way to go?
Not ideal.
Why do you say that, old McMoney?
I
Well,
mean,
there's strength
because
in numbers.
you're on your own. You have to pull your own. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying you're right because the strength is in
Well, you have
numbers.
to pull your own security. Yes. Yes, exactly. You can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you because
You
at this
you
point,
can't
nobody
pull
has your back.
security.
Nobody has
Exactly.
your back. You're on your own. And as a result of being on your own, if the lone wolves will have the dog eat dog, if you will, mentality, because it's all about them and trying to keep them safe. And if every lone wolf is out there thinking that, then you could be a target, because
Exactly.
and you don't have someone who has your back. So you're
That's right.
pretty much out there on your own, and your skills are limited because of it being just that, your skills. And you're not, and most people aren't a jack of all trades,
Yeah.
which would make survival a
Right.
little difficult for some. Not all,
And
I'm saying,
Right.
as
but for some,
just
it would make it
as
difficult for many people. So
yeah, just
experts,
as Maurice Feaster just said, lone wolves will need to sleep.
uh,
See?
Yup.
you better say that thing. Lone wolves will need to sleep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not safe. Michelle Green is saying that.
Yeah.
And lone wolf, Dominique is saying lone wolf for a little while until you weed people out. I personally, like I said, remember what I said, family, no wrong answers. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, and we're going to respect that. And there are people in the family who have decided that that's what they want to do. It won't work for me. It might work for them, but it won't work for me. And I'm just that's just me. It won't work for me. I need to know that I have someone that I can rely on, just as much as they can rely on me. I know that I am limited with my skills. I have skills that I have to offer, but I know that I am limited with my skills. I also, so I would want to bring other people in. Okay, I would want to be part of a group as opposed to being the lone wolf. As Brother Maurice
Right.
said, you got to sleep
Excuse me.
sometime, and then who's covering you?
Right. Mary C, can you pull Maurice Feaster into the studio?
I could if I had his your email. So send me your email,
Oh,
and then
okay.
I can send you
Okay.
an invite. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can do it from here. Invite. Okay. What is your I need an email, family. I can't do it otherwise. So I have to put in a 2, and then I can send it to you. I can send it email. It says messenger, but I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Where are we at? Let me go back out. Where is he at? Do you mind sharing it with me in the chat? Uh Maurice, and then I can bring you in.
Can you put the link in the chat?
Well, that's what I'm asking, if he doesn't mind putting his email in the chat. Well, initially, what we've done, Michelle Green, I like that. So, Maurice, I will add you if I can have your email address. So we'll take it from there. Michelle S. Green says we would have to move like the Underground Railroad from place to place and in a group, knowing the land, caves, etc. And I agree with you on that. Initially, we won't be on the run though. Initially, I think we're going to probably want to regroup. Catastrophe happens, and we need to get together. Okay. And so in our scenario, we're at a home, we're in a neighborhood, we're at a home, and family members are coming together with supplies and resources and things like that. We have decided that we've put a council together, if you will. I'm still waiting on Brother Maurice. I didn't get a response back from him. So, okay, we're going to carry on. But the scenario that we're living in right now is we're not on the run. We're in a house. We're putting things together. We're waiting on some of our people to come home, and we have a limited amount of food. We have enough food for 6 months. And resources for 6 months for the family members that are coming in. We spoke the last time. We had a little bit of an issue. Let's talk about that issue that we had. We had one family member, George. Now we put a council together, but we hadn't gotten to the point of who was going to be in charge of most things, because we just hadn't gotten that far, right? We just hadn't gotten that far. I was just trying to if we got another response. So we just hadn't gotten that far. So we did have some rules set up. One of the rules that we had set up, Flo Hughes said she sent her email also. Where did you send it to? You're sending it to my email address? Let me go out. Family, bear with me. Old McMoney and Chosen One Indeed, carry on if you will. You got something to say, you go ahead and say it. I'm going to see if I can get to my email. People are sending me emails. I think I have the ability to add up to 10 people. We'll see if Mary C can do this thing, right? Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a good first time.
And I can't help you, sis.
All right. I found one. I got you. Who did I find? I found Dominique. So let me see if I can add Dominique. Invite. You won't get to look at the Okay, Dominique, I just sent you an invite. Now let me go back and see who else is in there. We're gonna get this stuff together, family. we're gonna get this together so we can do this. Okay. Flo, you want to be included in the chat as a guest? I'm going to send you an invite as well. Maurice, did you send me one? I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Okay, if I missed anyone, let me know. I don't see any other ones in there. If I missed anyone, there's Dominique. I can add Dominique to the stream. Shalom, shalom, Dominique. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Say shalom to the family.
Shalom, shalom, everybody.
There's Dominique. I can add Dominique to the stream. Shalom, shalom, Dominique. Are you able to hear us?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, we got a little bit of an echo, so I don't know what needs to be done to fix the echo.
You still there, Dominique?
You able to hear us?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, we got a little bit. We still have that echo going on. I don't. Omegmani and Chosen One Indeed. What did you do to avoid the echo in the background? Can you help our sister out, Dominique?
Yes.
Okay, we got a little bit.
I grabbed the second device and just turned the volume all the way down.
What did you do to avoid the echo? All right, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh, it cuts this
I grabbed the
off.
second device and turned the volume all the way down.
Dominique,
There you go.
Dominique, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for joining us. We still got a little bit of an echo going on.
I'm going to go ahead and mute.
Dominique?
Maybe that's the problem. I'm going to mute.
Okay, but now I need you to say something. She's probably going to have another device. She's on mute and she can't hear me possibly. She muted herself. So she's probably going to need to have another device.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? All right. And we can hear you and there's no echo now. So that's good. Have another device. She's on mute. Oh, no, I'm still hearing something, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Where were we at, family? Let's keep going. Your Rock Meals is saying get off speakerphone. So I don't know if that helps. Thanks, brother. All right, there's our Flo Hughes. I'm gonna add you to the stream, Flo. And family, just so that you guys know, if you don't want to show your face on there, there's a way that you can do it so that it's not showing your face. It's up to you. Flo Hughes, there you are. We see you, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you.
Yep.
I'm loving this family.
Me too.
I am loving this. Hallelujah. It's good. It's good. So family, we're going to be together, all of us, in this mess of a world that we live in. We're going to be together and we got to learn how to get along. We got to learn how to manage so that we all survive. It's not going to be one of those things where flow is for flow and that's it. And the whole group is on their own. Nope. Flo is saying, no, it's for me and the rest of the family. Right, Flo?
Yep.
All right. So did we lose someone? So we have Chosen One. Are you still there? Yes.
Yes.
We
I'm
have
still
Old
here.
McMonty. Oh, McMonty, I'm seeing a little portion of you. Is that okay?
Oh, thank you.
You want me to turn it? Okay, there you go.
I got it.
All right. I thought we lost you for a minute there.
You did. I'm buffering. I'm way out in the country, and
okay.
my signal
And
is very
again,
poor.
All of you who are on as invited guests, you don't have to stay the course. You can jump off and jump into the chat if you want to do that. We'll do that. All right. So was there flow so far? What we've discussed? Was there anything that you wanted to add to what has already been said?
No. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine. All right, family out there listening to us. Is there anything that you think we need to add that Mary C or the rest of the invited guests have not said? Oh, email. Oh no, Maurice. I think I'm being blocked. I emailed you twice, put my email in the chat 6 times. Hold on. Something is wrong because I haven't seen it in the chat, but that's okay. Don't try to send it in the chat again. Where are you sending it to? Send it here, just in case. Because I would love to have you come on.
It wouldn't take it in the chat. Mine didn't become visible either.
It didn't. What happened? How did you get on?
I sent you an email.
Okay. It wouldn't take it in the chat, you're saying.
No, right.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Send it here, Maurice. Send it here. And then I'm going to go back out. So, ladies, conversate until I can get this figured out. Remember George. If any of you remember George and our situation with George, chosen one indeed, I see you. Are you okay with me having your face like showing your beautiful face?
Yeah, I just wanted to show it for a second so you can know I'm not a bot.
Well, it's good to see your beautiful face. I'm glad to see you. I know some sisters and some brothers maybe too are camera shy. And I'm okay with that because I was that way when I first started, you know. And so if you just want to put what do they call it?
Avatar.
An avatar out, you can do that. Or if you want to remain in the background, you can do that also. So I'm going to go out and see if we can bring our brother in, Maurice. All right. So I'm going to go and see if I can bring him in. So again, if you remember George, let's talk about George. Oh, email.
Now, wasn't George?
Take the wheel, ladies, and talk about George.
Wasn't George
the one who was sneaking food?
Yes.
Yes, he was the family member sneaking food.
Yeah.
That was sneaking food.
Put him out, but by him
we were going to put him out, but we didn't. Maurice, I see you. Hallelujah.
Yeah, we kept George because we figured.
We figured it was better to keep him than to let him go because he could really wreak havoc by telling others.
Yes.
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 Home.
Bringing his partners back.
Right.
And I really believe that's exactly what would happen.
Oh, let me try this because I don't think that's working. I'm going to do email. Here we go.
There was a question posed about practicing your preps.
Okay, so
I said the best way to go is to.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
I'm looking at I got a warning from Maurice's email. So I need to go out and see what's going on with this email. Maybe I picked it up wrong or something. Oh, let me try this. Hold on.
Okay. While you're doing that, Mary, there was a question posed.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
I got a warning from
somebody's echoing.
Go out and see what's going on with this email. You guys picked it up wrong or something. Maurice, try it now.
So there was a question.
Check your email. All right, ladies, what happened?
There was a question posed about practicing your preps.
You want to respond to it?
And so, yeah, I put in the chat to go camping, but there are a lot of people just beginning to prep and they're not comfortable with that idea yet. So I was going to suggest that to practice their preps, that they cut off the power on their house and do it inside.
Check your email. All right, ladies, what happened? Okay, I'm hearing an echo on something in the chat still, or in the studio,
Mhm.
and I don't know what needs to be done in order to get rid of that. So one of us, there's an echo somewhere.
But there are a lot of people just beginning to prep and they're not comfortable with that
So
idea
I hear
yet.
you again, Flo. So we have a little bit of a problem, family, with the someone needs. There's Brother Maurice.
Okay.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Thanks for joining the studio.
Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
Studio.
Good to be here.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Good. So again, there is a little bit of an echo. I don't know what to do to fix that echo, but we're going to try to move on. Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
So far, did you have anything, Maurice, Brother Maurice, that you wanted to add to what has been said?
Sure. A couple
you are
things.
a wealth of knowledge.
All right. So one thing. Well, let me give you a brief background. I have 21 years military experience, and then after my military experience, I have a little over 19 years working for DoD. The agencies that I worked for, I cannot say them. And the things that I've done, I can't say the things that I've done because of my security clearances that I've had and the non-disclosure agreements that I've signed. And some of the things that I've done can actually put me in jail or have me terminated. But
And when you say terminated, you mean your life.
Yes. So I've looked at things that the average person has never seen to make sure that the country will operate on its worst day. So anything that you can think of that I might have looked at, more than likely I've looked at those things already.
Mm-hmm.
As far as preparation and preparing for the country is something that I've done. And one thing that's important, if there is an EMP, there would have to be several of them put up. One would not be enough to do it because of the height. Even though they say that it's possible, it's not possible because the firmament, in order for them to get the height that they would need, they would actually hit the firmament first. So a lot of things that they're telling us,
it would be targeted strikes in targeted areas, is what you're saying. So they wouldn't be able to just lights out for the whole, let's say the United States. They wouldn't be able to do that. They would have to target different areas. And I would agree with you on that.
That's correct. And one thing that we've talked about, here on the land, and when I do some of the chats for the Google Meet family chat, I let them know that what I believe is for the lights to go out, what they would have to do would be take out power stations. And it's something that they've been practicing, and everyone's seeing them hit them. And on the news, they already put out, which I was surprised, they put out the number of stations, the number of critical stations that would need to be hit in order to take them down. And the number, unfortunately, I can't say because that's something that could put me,
classified.
Yeah. So even though it's out there, I still can't repeat it. As far as when things go down, it's important that people have hard copy maps of the areas that they plan on traveling in. And in those hard copy maps, they also want to look at all the back roads that they would take, and they need to actually practice taking these back roads.
Absolutely.
And knowing where bridges are, it'd be a good thing to find out how to go and travel without having to go over those bridges.
Or bridge,
because you never know what will actually happen with those bridges. Food and water. We travel and we keep food and water in our vehicles the time. I keep a pair of good walking shoes in my car all the time. I keep a coat in my
Yes.
car
Yes.
all the time. You know,
So,
Yes.
so Brother Maurice, talk to us about, because we're focusing in on EMP strikes, right?
yes,
Them taking our power grid down,
Mm-hmm.
and we are at the point where we understand that this is it. The system's not going to come back. Okay, and we know that this is a possibility, right? That the system's not going to come back with this type of a strike. What was I correct in saying that our National Guard would step in? Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say on this.
So one thing, I was also responsible at looking at their readiness. I can say this: there are people that have been brainwashed that on that worst day they will come in because they're brainwashed to do it. But there are many that are like, no, I need to take care of my family.
Isn't that what old McMonty was saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So
we'll still have those that will try to enforce, because I'm thinking that with the National Guard in your area coming in and saying we're here to help you, right? That's what we're going to hear. We're here to help you, to try to keep not really control, but we're going to try to keep crime, keep the crime down. We're here to help everyone. We know that you don't have the resources, all of the resources that you may need. So we're going to do what we can to provide for the people.
Right. But one thing to think about is the National Guard is not as large as what people think.
Right.
Whenever we see the National Guard, like what took place with the insurrection back on the 6th of January, a couple of years ago, remember, they pulled in National Guard from many states.
locations.
So you've seen all those large numbers there for many states. Now, you're looking at just your state alone, you know, more likely that state is going to pull it into their capital. As far as a lot of these other cities, the other cities are going to be on their own. And as far as the resources, they're not going to really have the resources.
They're not, but they're going to tell you that they're there to help you.
Yeah, you think that they're going to help, but they're not going to have the resources. And it's best that you are prepared to survive on your own. You should not have to depend on anyone in order for your survival. And if you're depending on others, you've already lost the battle right there. So don't depend on anyone. Don't plan on anyone coming. Anyone that comes to your door, to tell you the truth, if anyone's coming to your door, more likely they're upset. And they're coming to take whatever you have.
Take what you have, or to
you know, if you
what do they call it? To check things out, to see what you have.
Right. If you think about what took place in New Orleans back when they had the floods, Katrina, when the National Guard and the police were going to the doors, they were actually looking for resources. They were trying to make people leave out of their homes to go someplace else. But it was also all about resources. And what were they also doing? They were collecting weapons. They had people, and they were doing stops at different checkpoints and going through people's vehicles, and they were taking their weapons from them. So
yes, I did hear that.
Right. So you can't depend on the police to do anything for you.
Yeah, I can tell you, in my unit, we had lots of rogues, lots of them. And that was their plan. They were hoping something would happen so they could clean people out.
Well, Pass has shared this with us, family. It says the militia will get help to you faster than any official group. Well, personally, I'm not trusting any of the groups, militia or otherwise, because just as Brother Maurice was saying about the National Guard, who are our federal employees, the militia is generally made up of what we call patriots and things and such. I'm not all that trusting, and that's just me, because they could be coming out to get resources as well.
And that's true. They will be looking for resources. And if they find anybody that's actually storing a lot of stuff, people are going to believe that you should now share the stuff that you have with their group.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as these
Mhm.
militias, you want to leave these
Mhm.
militias alone. There's
Yep.
a weapons store that I used to frequent, and one of the guys that was in there, we were talking about preparing, and he has a group that he hangs with, and he says, well, he's not preparing for anything. He says on that worst day, he says, me and my boys, we're going to get together, and we're just going to go house to house because everybody's going to have enough stuff for us. We're just
Mm-hmm.
going to take what we need.
They
And
call them the wolf, some type of wolf, right? They call them.
Werewolf.
There's a name. There's a name
Werewolf
for those
peppers.
guys. What is it?
werewolf prepper.
There you
Were,
go.
werewolf pepper.
Yes.
Mhm. But
And their main goal is not to prep like the rest of us would prep. Their main goal would be to find you and take what you have.
mhm. And
Somebody is asking about the balloons. So we're going to talk about the balloons, and we're kind of a little bit off subject, but that's okay. We're learning, okay? Teresa Webb says, people tell me that the balloons weren't for surveillance because there are already many satellites, but it's untelling what may have come out of those balloons. I live in KY, and I saw it at night and got proof. So, excuse me, anyone in the studio want to talk to the balloons and what you think those balloons were out there for?
the balloons, I believe the balloons were actually from this government, even though they're blaming China on
I
it. I believe
I'm
they're
with
from the
you
government. And
100%.
the reason why is because you have NORAD, and their job is to Northcom monitor the airspace. So they would have seen this stuff coming before it even hit Alaska. They would have seen it coming, and they would have had
Would have put
many
it into it.
opportunities. Yep, many
Put it
opportunities to
into it.
take us
That's what I
down.
said.
So they wanted this thing to go across the country. They
Hmm.
wanted it to go across. They want you to see things are
I was
breaking
just getting
down.
ready to say they wanted us to see it,
Hmm. Yep, they did.
and they made sure it went all the way across, that we saw that,
Hmm.
and then put a name on it and said it came from some area, right?
Right.
On
Absolutely.
purpose.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
Yep. I read last night, and I don't remember what article it was, where it came from. I don't know what channel I was on, but some people were saying that they were actually signals to particular groups to do what they're set out there to do.
Well, there's a lot of things and a lot of people that are already in the country to set out to do things.
Mm,
When we watched
that's a thought.
what was the place where the people were climbing up on the planes and the plane was taking off and people were being dropped, falling off the
Oh, I
plane.
remember seeing
Oh,
that.
I remember
Was it
that. Yeah.
Afghanistan?
Right.
It was
So
somewhere in the
I
Middle
think it was
East, right?
Afghanistan. But the
Hmm.
thing is, they brought all these
Hmm.
people into the country, and a lot of these
Afghanistan. Yep.
people, yeah, were housed at certain military installations,
Excuse me.
and a couple of them were seen, going into areas that they did not belong in, and they just pretty much just chased them out. But the government was actually giving those people thousands of dollars, and then the people started disappearing from the military installations, and they weren't being tracked or traced or nothing. So there are thousands of people, just roaming around right now. They're coming in from the borders. You're purposely letting them come into the borders,
Hmm.
and it's all by design to break
Hmm.
everything.
And
Everything
I
is going to
want
happen.
people to understand that it's not just the southern border that they're coming in. It's not. I want people to understand that. We're intent on a racial thing. We're intent on this looking for a specific enemy, if you will.
Right.
And it's not so, family. It's not so. They're coming in from all areas.
But
Many of them.
the
Go ahead.
government's bringing them. The government is
That's
bringing them
exactly
in.
right.
They're bringing them in.
And many of them you're looking at and saying that these are citizens, but they're really not. They're coming in. They're enemies. They're here. I've been
Yeah, that's what
saying
I
this.
said. I said some of these homeless people, they're sus. They're definitely sus. Some of
Mhm.
them are just a little too prepared for being out there. And I'm in Southern California, and I walk a lot, so I just kind of pay attention and take notes. And there's a lot of suspect people out there.
And the ones that are coming in from the border, and you see how a couple of these the governors and mayors, they're putting them on buses and they're sending them. That's all by design. If you look at a lot of those people, like when they were coming off the buses in New York, I'm like, man, these guys look like, your military age fighting man that are getting off these. I'm seeing more men, single men that look like they're between 18 and 32 years old getting off these buses, and I didn't see hardly any women.
Yeah, I saw some that
Exactly.
were Chinese, and
Mhm.
see, you haven't seen a lot of that on camera. A lot of Chinese men, and a lot of what they're saying they believe are Russian men coming into the country. You see them lined up, and they're getting together to go somewhere. I don't know where they're taking them to, and they're coming into the country. And these look like military men, just like Maurice was saying that I saw in this video. They did not look like your average family man with the kids. There were no kids. They were all men. They were all men. And we've been having all of these train derailments all over the place. And that's also, go ahead, Maurice. I see you smiling.
The train derailments. If
Yeah.
anyone thinks that this is just a coincidence, then they're just completely lost.
All right, we're losing some
is,
of our women here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maurice.
Yeah, everything is being done by design. They have to break everything because they already know that this country is done. So they're helping to do it all in. If you look at all these Fortune 500 companies and look at all the CEOs over the past couple of years that have stepped down from a lot of these companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
People know it's time to leave.
Dale P has shared with us there are sleeper cells in the country right now. I have said this over many times. Have I not? That there are sleeper cells. They're just waiting for the signal. Would you agree? Chosen One and Brother Maurice, would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sheila Foster, she says, here in El Salvador, they're cleaning things out. I think they're all coming here until the heat is off. Yeah, so a lot of places are just forming up because China's been forming up in Canada. China's been forming also down in Mexico. We have ships and subs off of both of our coast. No one's talking about it. Everything's just staging. Everything is getting staged right now.
They're setting things up, right?
Yes.
So Sheila Foster says, I've seen a few of them. I went out to lunch yesterday. There's a table of 12 military-age men that look like the cartels. Let me tell you, I actually did some thinking sitting there. Yeah, I could imagine. They're here, family. We know that they're here. So if we're going to get back to our scenario, we're going to have to probably do this in a couple of takes. But for right now, we're going to try to get back to our scenario. Before an EMP hits us, I would believe that they're doing exactly what they're doing right now, right? They're putting boots in the land. Wouldn't you say? They're putting the boots on. They're already here. So before they hit us with the EMP, they're going to make sure that they have the enemy would make sure that I would, if I was the enemy, make sure that you have folks in place for the next plan. Right?
Exactly.
So
I love thinking like the enemy.
I'm thinking they're here just to help break things down.
Yeah.
Because the number of weapons that are here in the United States, they're going to need a large, force to come in. So the best way to do things is just to take down the infrastructure. Once you take down infrastructure, eventually, people aren't going to survive, and the people are going to fight themselves to break everything down. Because if you think about your average supermarket, it has 3 days worth of food. You do something.
But nowadays it's less than 3 days worth of food.
That's correct.
Because the shelves are already
partially full.
So it's less than 3 days. So I want the family to know that it's not 3 days. It's going to be less than 3 days. So don't be expecting the supermarkets to be your backup. Do your due diligence now and make sure that you have your supplies. I'm sorry, Maurice, go ahead.
Right. So everything, if they were to do, let's say, several EMPs, or if they were just to take down the power, once you stop the movement of the fuel, you stop the movement of the trucks. Once you stop the movement of the trucks, then the stores are going to eventually stop also, because there's no power. The people are going to break into the stores. Once the people break into the stores, and the stores only have, less than 3 days worth of food, then people are going to be looking for food, because the average person is not storing food. So everything's going to implode.
So day one of our EMP strike, day one. Maurice, you're just outlining what is going to happen. On that first day, folks are going to try to most people are going to scramble and try to get home. But you're also going to have that group of people. Where are they at? As Maurice just said, they're at the gas station and they're getting the gas, and they're at the grocery stores, getting the food, getting the water, getting all the resources that they can get to go back home with.
Yep.
It's going to be utter chaos. Am I right?
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
This has been in the works for a long time. I was a logistics specialist for 37 years, and as soon as they started outsourcing, I knew that something was wrong. The supply chain is set up to break. So, and I was a part of it. Probably why I'm not working now. Too much stress. So this has been in the works for a very long time. We saw a lot of things that were put in place during the Obama administration. And I was able to watch it from the outside because I was working in the UK. And I remember sitting at lunch saying, they are tearing the United States down piece by piece. It's going to take 30, 40 years to do it the way they're doing it. But that's what they're doing.
Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. But it's not going to take 30, 40 years. It's gonna happen.
Oh
real
no, that
fast.
was back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was saying that back in the 80s.
Let's look at what a wife has to say here. She says that when the pandemic started, they were trying to provoke fear and control. Then they backed off and blamed everybody else for doing it. Now they've just stepped up the bear game. Well, I look at that. Well, let me get you guys' take on that. Okay. I personally, I think that plan A didn't work as they expected it to with all of that. And so they have rolled on to plan B. We're at plan B right now, is my thought on this. You guys didn't all cooperate the way that they expected you to. Thoughts on that, Maurice, or chosen one?
And I think that's why they're doing the things that they're doing to the animals. Why do you have to vaccinate an animal? So you didn't go and do the things they wanted you to do. Now you're going to eat the food and you're going to get what we want you to have anyway.
Exactly. One way or another, we're going to do it.
Yes.
They're going to try to.
Exactly right.
I'm just going through some of the chats.
The other thing I was thinking about was with them killing off the animals, that's food. So we are focused on them burning up these food processing plants. It's not just the processing plants, it's the natural environment. The animals can't survive. That's your food right there.
And we know
the
that
soil is damaged. You can't grow anything. The water is contaminated. So you need all that.
You do. And we know that they're doing something because we've seen videos of these animals acting very strangely, lining up in a single line for miles and miles, or going round and round in a circle. So we know that they are doing something. And if it's affecting the animals that way, we're not seeing it, but we may be hearing it. There's something that's going on out there that is making a change in animals. And if it's making a change in animals, what is it doing to us? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What is it?
One thing with this with 5G. I don't want to get off the subject,
Go ahead.
but it's important that
We're
people have
good.
all right. It's important to have people have meters to understand, what's going on, because the way these animals are reacting, a lot of the frequencies are hitting the animals and causing them to do things. In our car, we travel wherever we go with a meter, because right now, a lot of the places that I've been to, now I'm sensitive to EMFs. So sometimes I feel a little dizzy.
Speak to us, Brother Maurice. EMF, give us what that means.
EMFs are electromagnetic frequencies. So they're coming from the towers. A lot of people say it's 5G, and we're used to saying 5G, but 5G hasn't really been turned on yet, because they're still going back and forth with the airports, because the airports are saying that if they turn the 5G on, they're going to have problems with the with their aircraft. So the frequencies are really ramped up at a lot of these different what are they called, where they have the towers, where the towers are located. And the sad thing is that I notice some places are really bad, especially in the urban areas. Going back and forth to Philadelphia, I don't even go to Philadelphia anymore, because the frequencies are so high. And also in a lot of these hotels, the frequencies are very high. I went to an event back in Detroit a couple of years ago, me and my wife, and the frequencies in the room were so high that it was unbelievable. I didn't want to sleep in there. And then when I was pointing the meter around, when I pointed the meter at the bed, it was at the highest point. And they're breaking down your DNA with the frequencies. At nighttime, when you sleep, that's when your DNA is supposed to repair itself. But now you're sleeping on a bed where all these frequencies are hitting you. It's actually destroying your DNA when it's supposed to be repairing itself. So these frequencies are a bad thing. A lot of times it's self-imposed, because we put a lot of stuff in our homes. We make our homes smart homes, and we actually destroy ourselves, with everything that we put in our own homes. The devices are nice, but the devices are slowly, killing us.
Exactly.
One thing that's important to pay attention to is also your Wi-Fi boxes, because at nighttime they can turn these frequencies up on your Wi-Fi devices, and you don't know it. So you think you're sleeping. When we moved out here to the country, so we were still working in the DC area, and we had an apartment there when we purchased a house out here. So we were going back and forth. But when we had come here to go sleep, it was always the best night's sleep that I ever had. And that's because
we're away from towers and things like that.
And we could control the level of frequencies that were in our house.
Flo Hughes says not as many people died as they had planned. And so that's why I believe they went to plan B. There's also a question in here from a wife, says Miss Mary, and I'm going to open it up to the floor. Anybody that doesn't know, could you please explain to them about the Antichrist? Well, the days that we're living in right now are biblical days. And Brother Maurice, you go ahead and add your input on this one. But we're living in biblical times right now. And we know that the book of Revelation speaks about the Antichrist. Okay.
As far as the Antichrist goes, people really don't understand it, because the book of Revelation talks about it. But in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, it talks about that many were going to run to and fro, and knowledge would be increased. And the knowledge that was increased were other books that came forward, because you had the southern tribe and you had the northern tribe. And the southern tribe.
Now I'm going to have to stop you right there, but I'm going to let you continue. I'm going to stop you right there, because at this point in time, there are so many in the family that are at different points in their journey on this walk. And there are very many. We've had a little bit of a discussion about this a few times. There are many in the body. Maurice is getting ready to speak, family, about these other books. There are many in the family who do not believe that they should go beyond what we consider the Bible, those 66 books. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a heads up. Brother Maurice is going to take us down a journey that includes a little bit more information from books other than the 66 books, but the books that he is referring to support the 66 books that we know of as the Bible. So what he has to offer, you can take it or you can leave it. Okay. It's free agency, but I just thought I needed to say that, Brother Maurice. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, hold on 1 second before you do. Brother Maurice, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I always like to tell people, think about what the word Bible actually means, because the word Sefer means book, and a lot of people think Bible means book, but it's basic instructions before leaving earth. The key word is basic. So that means there's more to it than what's contained in those 66 books that we were given.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Mary C. There are a lot of things that happened to us. Our history that was given to us was a bunch of lies. The lies started, from the day that you were born. Then we were put into this system, and the system we were put into was called school, and the school was made to control you. So now you're sitting down, at the kindergarten class, and you're looking at your teacher, and you have the red apple on the desk, and next to the red apple you have that big spinning globe. It's supposed to be spinning, I think, 1,000 times an hour or something like that, or 1,000 times through the day. That's where everything starts right there. In Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And it says, "Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also will reject thee, and thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that you have forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children." But we were told in church, hey, well, there's no law. The laws of God are done away with. But we don't understand who we are. I'm talking about people that look like me, the Negro, the African American. And once you come to the knowledge of who you are, you realize that the Bible is actually a history book. It's a book that gives you your past, the present, and also the future. Because the people that we thought were the Israelites are not the Israelites. And that's why they call themselves, what do they call themselves? The Jewish. And hopefully that word there doesn't get your video knocked off
I
later
hope it
on.
doesn't get me hit, but we can
But I won't say
explain
that word
the
again.
last
Okay?
part of that word, ish.
Ish is a form of, but it's
A
not
form
that.
of. It doesn't mean the original. It says it's a form of. So go ahead, carry on.
So you think about blackish or yellowish. Now, so we don't want to reject knowledge because of Hosea chapter 4, 6. Now in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end." It says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." So here in Daniel, we can see that there is a book that is going to be sealed and come forth at the end. So the southern tribe, they wrote the Bible. The northern tribe, if you look at Numbers chapter 17, all the tribes were commanded to keep records, all of them. And then the Father says he was going to choose what was going to bud. And when he chose the records that were going to bud, we're going to see these things take place at the end time. And in Ezekiel chapter 37, and I think it's verses 15 to 20, it talks about these two sticks, and they were going to write upon them, and these two sticks were going to come together at the end time. So now there are books that are out there, and you have the sealed book of Moses that's out there. And it also talks about another book that was going to come forth. And this book that was going to come forth is going to be called the Book of the Seven Seals, which is known as the sealed portion. The Bible was written in symbolism and allegories and parables and all of these
Can I
things.
interrupt you a little bit
Yes,
again,
yes, ma'am.
Brother Maurice? I just want to add in here. McMoney says, in my mind, there are other books mentioned within the 66 books, what we know of as today our Bible, but they were removed. And we need to understand that in their day, when they mentioned those books, they themselves read those books. Okay. So they were taken out years later. Okay. By those that were in power to do that. They were taken out later. So the Bible has been tampered with, and it has been manipulated. And I just wanted to add that in there. Thank you, McMoney, for sharing that. Go ahead, Brother Maurice.
Yes, lots of books have been taken out. But the thing is, this sealed book was going to come forth during the last dispensation in time. So we know that the knowledge is going to be increased. Now, in the seal book, it talks about
And I don't want to go too deep into the sealed book too much, because a lot of people haven't read it, they don't have it, and they're not really aware of it. So, because I have it, but I have not taught from it.
I'll
Maurice,
keep
so
it very,
you're going
very
to
light.
lose a few people.
Okay, I'll keep it very light. Keep it
Okay.
very light.
And then we're going to get back on track.
Okay.
All right, because we were talking about the Antichrist.
Right. So in Revelation chapter 5, verse 1, it says, "And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside 7 sealed with 7 seals." And then verse 9 says, "And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by the blood of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and hast made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth." So this book, that the only one that was able to open this book was Jesus. He was the one that was able to open this book for us. There's another book called the Third Testament, and it talks about in there, it says, the book of the 7 seals is the history of your life, of your evolution on earth and all its struggles, passions, conflicts, and finally, the triumph of good and justice. And we're on the verge right now of the good and justice.
Yes, we are.
And in the seal portion, it says, if you are reading my words that are given in this record, then you are wise and have been guided by the Holy Spirit. And these things which have been sealed are the things which Daniel was not allowed to write, and are the words that are closed up and sealed to the time of the end.
Yeah.
Now, one thing about these words that are sealed up, because we're looking for an Antichrist to come, but what we don't realize is the Antichrist been here. People are looking for someone else, but the Antichrist has been here because they've changed everything.
Well, we've had several of them.
Right, we've had several of them.
Several of them.
The word says, "Take heed that you are not deceived."
Right.
So we're looking, we're trying to be vigilant, and we're looking to make sure we're not deceived. But the thing is, we're born into the deception. So the only way we get out of deception is the Father has to wake us up. We can't wake up on our own.
No, I agree with you on that. Let me share what A Wife says here. A Wife says, "I do believe that those books that were sealed are open purposely for these days." And I agree with you, A Wife, 100%. We have some other ones that are out here. I want to just kind of make sure that we're including the folks in the chat.
Sure.
And Daphne Felix is also put in Revelations 5:9. And they sung a new song saying, "Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou hast slain and hast redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred, tongue, and people and nation." And so I just wanted to include them into this conversation. Again, we're talking about books that have been sealed. We're talking about the Antichrist, and Brother Maurice has given us Lioness of Haya says, "What about the Antichrist?"
Okay, Daphne Felix, she just put something in the chat, and it says, Antichrist is the false prophet, anyone that goes against Christ.
Where's
so
that
there,
at?
there are many Antichrists. And
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. So there's so much stuff that we need to know, but the Bible is only going to take us up to a point, because now with this sealed book, all of the parables have been opened. Everything that's in the sealed book is actually open now. And if the Father allows you to read it, there are no more parables in there. There's no symbolism. There's no allegories. Everything is plain. And in the book, it says, "And I've been commanded to seal these things up to come forth in the own due time of the Lord. And if you are reading these things, then ye know that the time hath come."
Okay.
So
Maurice, Brother Maurice, I've got folks in the chat. Again, there are folks that are not there yet.
Right. And I'm gonna stop right there, because I don't want to take anybody over the edge.
Yeah, they're not there yet. We're going to get back to to the subject matter, because there are folks that are, again, they're asking questions, and a lot of folks are not to a point where they're quite, I don't know, I don't want to say they're not open, but they're not going to go in that direction at this point in time. Okay,
Right.
so we're going to try to keep it somewhat generic,
Right.
because we're talking about this scenario of what do we do to survive. I know what you're saying, Brother Maurice, is it's good soul food, and
Right.
it is also things that we would need to survive. But I'm not sure that's something that is, going to sit well. I think it's going to go over the heads of a few people,
I
because
understand.
they're not quite there yet. Okay, some people are not quite there, and I don't mean that in a negative or a derogatory way. It just means that sometimes we have to meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Sometimes if there is anyone that is curious, and if they want to come in and check out my channel and check out the videos, you're welcome.
Put your channel name in the chat if you can for us.
Put my channel name. So my channel name is actually,
or a link to your channel.
Okay, I'll put a link. There's a link right there to one of my videos, and they can work from there.
Okay.
And if anyone has questions, you can just, at one of the videos, you can go ahead and just write your question, because normally I check my comments.
I like that, Zion sister.
But but let's get back to preparedness. But thanks a lot for the time.
I'm hearing that Elder is on, and we did not get very far on our countdown. We've had natural disaster, or we've had an EMP strike. We have the National Guard trying to keep things together, and we have our family members trying to make it home. And we have decided that the roads are probably not the best mode to travel on. You might have to take your backpack or your get home bag and start walking, because the roads are a mess. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping and praying, family, that you have put a plan together to get your loved ones back home to you, so that you can group up and then decide where you want to go. We decided that in the first day, when the people know that this is it, that chaos will ensue, that folks are going to hit the grocery stores, and they're not going to go there with their debit cards. They're going to go and take what they need, take what they want. Okay. We also talked about the infrastructure, things like the police stations, the hospitals. We didn't mention the police stations, but it would work the same way. Hospitals, those that are in those positions are more likely to go home and be with their families to try to figure out how they can survive. And that means that they would leave those that are in the beds, hospital beds, and those that are in need of constant care. They would probably leave them to go home. So that's another thing that we need to consider. If you have a family member that's in that situation at a hospital, how would you manage to go get them? If you're going to do that, how would you manage to get them so that you could care for them? I believe during that time frame, we will lose a lot of people. During that first week, we would lose a lot of people.
Mary C.
Yes.
One thing that I think is very important that people understand is to have that plan in place and to be able to operate without communication. It's when everything goes sideways, people should not try to make any phone calls at all. People should text, because your text will go through faster than any phone call will go through. And you might only get to do maybe 1, 2, maybe
you need
3
to repeat
texts.
that one. You need to repeat that.
Do not try to make any phone calls. Text people. You need to text them. And you should already have plans in place. And that text should only be, I am okay, and I'm following along with the plan. And, we used to live, when we were coming back and forth, we knew we had it was 100 miles from where we
Mhm.
worked to where we live. So we knew if anything happened, it was going to take us between 3 to 5 days to get home. And
Okay.
then we packed for 10 days as far as our food,
Mhm.
dehydrated food,
Mhm.
in case we had to walk from home to make it all the way back out to the mountains. But we already knew if something happened, my wife knew that she was to stand fast at her job, and I was going to be there in a few hours. And then we would go back to the apartment, gather our things, and then we would start to make that trek home. So we already knew what to expect.
Mhm.
And that's what's important that people do.
So
Don't
you
plan
have a
on calling
plan.
everybody.
You have a plan. My husband and I have a plan. I spoke a little bit about him if he is away at the office because I work from home.
Mhm.
And if he is away from home, he's at the office. We have a plan for him to make it back to me.
Right.
And so everyone in the chat, I'm praying that you are being diligent, family. We've got hard and tough times that are coming our way. I'm praying that you all are taking the steps to protect you and your family. You are planning for the events that are coming. Okay, that's my prayer. Okay, is that you guys are all doing those things. Yes. McMoney says the first responders, police, firefighters, EMTs will be with their families. And wouldn't you? All of us are saying that we want to survive. We want to make sure our families are safe. So we're not going to be able to depend on these folks to maintain our way of life. We cannot depend on them. And trusting, and I'm going to go through this at another time, but trusting the militia groups, trusting even the National Guard. I know that they're supposed to be there to help, and they're for trying to maintain peace, if you will. But will we really and truly be able to trust them? Okay. I'm not willing, this is me personally, I'm not willing to put my 100% trust on them because I realize that power is one of those things that goes to some people's heads. If they have the power to do certain things, people do it, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And so I'm not all of that trusting when it comes to that type of thing. With the military or even with the National Guard or even with militia, especially if you have things. If you have things and they find out you have those things, they will come and they will have the power behind them to get those things from you. All right. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. They're probably gonna go home. Family, I'm going to try not to keep you too much longer on this. I think someone did ask again what your channel was, or did you put a link in the chat?
Yes,
Brother
I did.
Maurice?
I'll put it in again.
Yeah, put your a link in for your one of your videos or what have you, okay?
Okay. All righty. Wow, it didn't show up. It didn't show up. Okay. If you just go to just type in my name, just as you see it here, Maurice Feaster.
And
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
ONP space COC. Just go ahead and put that in the YouTube and it will take you right to my channel.
Repeat that just one more time because I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Okay, just type in, just like you see my name in the chat, Maurice space Feaster space ONOP space COC. Just do a search on that and that will take you to my page. I'm the only one. Okay. Okay, yeah, blessed by y'all. She put it in there.
Okay,
That's my
thank
lovely
you.
wife there. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Thank you for bringing me up on your channel, Mary C. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for joining. We're gonna have to
Alrighty.
do this again now that we know how to do it.
All right.
We're gonna have to do this again. So anytime that I'm on and you want to jump in, just put it in the chat. Mary C, invite me, and I
All
can.
right.
I now know I can open it up.
I'm going to shoot you an email also later on because I want to talk to you offline I want to
Okay.
find out, because I want to find out how to do this that you're doing, because
Okay.
this is all new to me.
It's it's all new to me too. So we're learning as we go, right? So
Okay.
I will do the same thing.
All right. Sounds good.
Just contact me. Okay.
All right. I will do. Will do.
All
Oh,
right.
one
So
more thing.
where
In
else?
your about section on your YouTube page has a different email address than the one that I actually contacted you on.
It does.
Yeah. So take a look at it when you have a free minute.
Okay. Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right. Brother Maurice,
Yes, ma'am.
can you pray for us before we end this
Sure
live?
can.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's all right. All right. Heavenly Father, we ask and we come for you, and we ask for forgiveness for anything that we've done that was not right in your sight, Father. We ask you to continue to watch over us, continue to lead us and guide us. We ask that you open up our eyes to the truth, Father. Show us the truth, Father, because no one wants to be led. We ask that you look over us during these times they're about to hit us, Father Yah. Help us to be prepared, but not only help us to be prepared physically, Father Yah, help us learn and be prepared for our souls for when we make it to eternity, Father Yah. We ask that you lead us and guide us, and we thank you for bringing us together today. We ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So
Hallelujah.
be it. So be it.
Hallelujah.
Thank
So
you,
be
Brother
it.
Maurice. This
Very
has
welcome.
been a pleasure talking
My
with you
pleasure.
and you sharing your wealth of knowledge with the rest of the family. I really appreciate you, my brother.
All
And
praises to the
everyone
Most
else
High.
that's been in the chat, I want to say thank you. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being patient to allow us to learn this system. If you're not subscribed yet to Brother Maurice, go over and check out his videos and subscribe to him. He has a lot of good information that he can share. He's been blessed by the Heavenly Father. He can share this information with you. If you're looking to take the next step, if you're looking for further information on what's missing from our scriptures, he is a good source to go to. Right, Brother Maurice? He is a
Thank
good source
you.
to go to.
Thank you. I'm just trying to be led by the Holy Spirit.
Well, and we appreciate you being of service to him. We do.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Thank you to the moderators, and thank you to Chosen One Indeed, Flo Hughes. Who else came on board? O McMoney. Who else did I'm missing?
Thank you, Mary C.
Thank you all for coming on board and being guests on the show, if you will. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one that's in the chat, and my moderators especially. I love you all. So on this note, we didn't get very far, but we got another one that we can probably plan out, and we can go further on this journey together. All right. So I love you, family.
Love you too, family.
Goodbye. I
Love you
want to
too.
say shalom to you, Chosen One Indeed. Shalom to you, Brother Maurice. And I want to say to everyone that's here, I love you guys, but know this, our Heavenly Father, he loves you so much more. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, shalom,
Shalom,
family.
family.